With the advancement of AI and technology, have you implemented any of this stuff like CRM or data analytics into your practice or into your business that's helped with, communication and your overall structure? Joe said something when he was speaking about the human relationship, like technology doesn't change the need for human interaction. However, with the advancement of AI and technology, whether it's Google DeepMind or GPT or all the different tools out there, have you implemented any of this stuff like CRM or data analytics into your practice or into your business that's helped with communication and your overall structure?
Yeah, we have. I mean, I don't know if it was in here today, but at this conference, I've heard a few people say that the AI boom is starting to come down a little bit. I personally don't agree with that. I think we're just now starting to see what AI can do. I think AI we haven't even scratched the surface personally. So we've got some investments in a couple AI companies that we think are going to change the industry, right? We feel very confident what they're going to do. We've definitely implemented. I've always said real estate is about 5 or 10 years behind on the technology side versus like the rest of the country on different things. So fintech, one thing we love about that world and business SaaS is we feel like that's kind of leading the way. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some great real estate players. We saw Service Titan go IPO, $9 billion this year, and I think you're going to see a few more of those. The markets love the fintech space, and they love when you combine the fintech with the real estate space. So that's one of our favorite softwares, or software on the market. So we've definitely implemented a lot of different tech. Before COVID hit, we were already pretty much remote. I don't believe in bringing back the staff into the office. I know Amazon and others feel like you have to. I think the smaller companies, you can get away with work from home. It's definitely more popular. Obviously, if a recession hits, that's going to be a good reason to bring people back in or lay off, right?
Yeah.
So, but from our perspective, we've got employees here in LA. One's with me at this show. We've got other guys in Dallas and Florida. So our firm, we're pretty much remote nationally, and then we have our in-office meeting for whoever's in Scottsdale.
Okay.
But
great.
Yeah, that's our take on it.
Sahil, what would you say? I mean, obviously, each family has a unique kind of perspective on the market right now and different strategies that you're utilizing. So, what would you say is working for you right now that you're taking advantage of, in the market today?
Well, I mean, as far as the public markets goes, I've always been one to kind of ignore that because there's so much speculation built into the pricing that it's hard to see where the actual value add is. So I much prefer, there are definitely certain kinds of trends that you can capitalize on. So for example, right, all of this talk about bringing back 100% bonus depreciation, that's a very, very good avenue for places like car washes, places like gas stations to really take advantage of certain things that could reverse the pressures that were inherent in the market. We're in a world of cap rate expansion, but when you bring that back into the equation, at least in places like gas stations, you might see a little bit of compression there. And that's a very small and very specific market shift. But I feel like that's kind of the angle that you need to go in, because if you're looking at things the same way as everybody else, you're going to make the same exact mistakes that everybody else makes. Because people are it's much more common for someone to make a mistake than to succeed. And you want to look for success where other people aren't looking for it.
Got it. Kip, just throwing the same question back to you. What strategies in this market are you looking to deploy?
Well, I'm going to describe something we're just starting to use with some families, and it's a little different. It's called impact investing. And the concept with impact investing is not about going out and making money for yourself, so to speak. It's not investing in hotels or single family or multifamily and so forth. It's actually a philanthropic program. And the idea is, and we're actually using this potentially with and I'll describe it. It's up in Montana, it's a ranch, if you will, that wants to help young ladies who've been trafficked. But they're looking at buying more property. So in this impact investing program, what you do is you put money into a DAF. And then what the DAF does, instead of just giving the money away, it actually loans out the money and gets a return on it, but the money also comes back into the DAF so that you can then recycle those dollars and help more people. So it's a form of investing. You still get some return on your investment, but you also get a nice tax write-off, and you're helping the community and other people. So that's a program we're looking at right now.
Right? Same question to you, Natalie.
From its communications, we do have a CRM and communication portal that we developed, so it's proprietary, that's safe to communicate. 100% agree with you on the foundation side. We do have our own 501c3 called Legacy of Safety, providing technology to those communities who can really afford to obtain them on their own. And everything we do is sort of impact related, because if that's why we actually found everything, because we live in such a world. There's so many school shootings. There's so much uncertainty. I mean, kids are, I have 2 children, and we're worried about them. And if we can do anything to help to have a safer place or safety for our families, for our children, that's kind of, I feel, the impact that our office is creating.
Okay. I can see you down there. I'm going to ask you the same question.
So our strategy is pretty simple. We like to develop a few deep, long-term relationships that turn into several investments. I think it was Michael who was on the stage just before us who was talking about getting slapped around with all kinds of investment ideas or pitching. We don't respond well to that either. What we do respond well to is a long-term relationship, get to know them, understand them better, and that usually turns into really good opportunities. We typically look for off-market, independent, kind of quiet deals that not a lot of people know about. And then we have friends that will call and syndicate with other family offices, and that turns into a really good situation. So it's pretty simple. It's relationship building that turn into lots of good opportunities down the road.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah, go for it.
I absolutely agree. We had an event in Arizona not too long ago, and it was a small group of individuals trying to raise capital. And I said the same thing. I said, if you're still raising capital after 10, 15, 20 years, you're doing something wrong. We work with a small group of family offices. They trust a handful of people. We trust a small group of people. I've loved everything you've said on this panel. Actually, I would love to get some wisdom from you, because my kids, I've been telling them we're broke all these years. It's not working anymore. They're in high school now. So at some point, I think they're going to figure it out. I think my oldest already has. But you work with good people, and you do business the right way. If you're here raising capital, it shouldn't be about you. It should be about what you could do for the family office. You should flip it. And that's the way I always looked at it when I was young. I said, hey, let me work hard for you. Let me prove I'm a good guy and I could do a good job for you. And I could tell you now, fast forward 22 years later, that one of the individuals that invested in my company back in 2002, 2003, every time I've called this family office, he's retired. It's his kids now that have taken over. And now we're a family office. So we actually GP deals together. But on the last deal I did before B of A, they put in a couple $1 million. We 10x their money in 18 months. So every time we call this individual Tony, within, I'm talking 24 hours,
You get a response back.
it's funded.
Well, just like how Kip is talking about the DAF and recycling the money back in, you're recycling the money from your LPs from great relationships and investments.
Yep.
Yuli, what for you? Same question. Any specific strategies that?
I think identifying secular trends early and then finding top decile fund managers in that space and developing a relationship with them is smart. I think for the most part, we're more long-term interested. If you're talking about more micro, identifying, say, end of last year, the pending volatility was a good, sense. We kind of sensed that was coming. And I think for the most part, and we've moved away from real estate for the time being, just with the prices being high as they are, and then also thinking, when would be the right place to get back in? Because when you're doing development projects, there's usually several years before that comes to fruition. So you're trying to read the tea leaves and also see where everybody else is. I think moving to the open space is not a bad idea, and really sticking to those general rules of thumb of, greed and fear, right, that we all sort of live by.
Yeah. So if you were to this is a question a lot of guests ask, but just the biggest kind of takeaways from the topics that we just talked about. Is there anything that you're just open to anyone who wants to answer here? That any lessons or observations you want to share with the audience?
Well, just to sort of chain it all together, there is certainly, I mean, if you're familiar with Stoicism, for example, you'll be very familiar with the phrase, the obstacle is the way. And I do truly find that some of the best places to go are places where you can flip everything on its head. And also, at the end of the day, have everybody better off. Do some impact investing. So, for example, if you go into places like universities, cities, small cities, or other organizations, especially in other countries, you'll find that a lot of their critical infrastructure, water fountains, tanks, solar panels, or other kinds of energy or other kinds of infrastructure like that, is often not owned, but rather rented. And if you can find a way to go into their P&L, see what they're renting or leasing, and they don't have an ownership stake in, that's incredibly valuable and mission critical. You can find a way to structure it so that they come in paying less than they were initially. You end up getting a little bit of a kickback from that, and everybody has safer and cleaner access to, say, potable drinking water. And you've now turned something that's been a liability on their balance sheet into something that not only on their P&L, shows profits, but also probably enables them to be more secure in their mission. And everybody is happy.
Great. Natalie, does anyone want to add anything? Or?
Well, I think just kind of addressing everybody, because everybody in this room, we have more ways to contribute to society, to help other people, to make a world a better place. And I think we also just need to ask ourselves, okay, it's not about me. What can I do? List a little bit one day at a time to help a stranger, to help, with impact investing, whether anything, advisory, getting some advisory boards in universities. I do that in University of Maryland. I wrote a book, Unbreakable Guide to Wealth and Fulfill Life, just as a guide to help people overcome challenges, because people are faced with so much, with how fast the economy is growing, what's going in the world. So I think we should be the role models for so many people to look up to and to focus that it's okay. We've all been through challenges. I'm sure there's not one person here who did not have something bad happen to them and they overcome. So I think that's what we must want to live with for me.
Yeah. It's only February. Yep.
We're really big fans of philanthropy for all the reasons we've been talking about here, because the value, obviously, of helping other people. But the value of what it can do to your family is incredible. So, and I use this generically. So let's assume we do have a family foundation. Again, it could be a donor advised fund. A foundation is a business, right? It has financial statements, it has tax returns, it's got investments to manage, it's got to do research as to what causes do you want to fund, and it's got to have a management team. Well, in today's world, the current generation is excited about doing social things. So now you have an opportunity to bring the whole family around the table and to open up, we've talked about the communication. Now you can hear what the kids are doing. You can find out which kids want to be involved in this. And mom and dad get the opportunity to watch what the kids are doing and responding. So now, if we go back to the family office, which is the for-profit side of the family, the parents have a good idea of which children are going to rise to the occasion. But the point is, you're creating a platform of real-life experiences, teaching this next generation what's the difference between a mutual fund and a checking account? Because again, if they're going to inherit a whole bunch of money and they don't know anything about real estate, as an example, because so much of that is what we're talking about, what's going to happen to that wealth? So we want to bring them into that process, and philanthropy is just a great way to do it. And they can't fight over the money because they're not going to get it anyhow.
Robert, could I point something out?
Go for it.
So we have a legacy in the mentoring space going back to about 2005. We've done mentoring projects with Julian Schnabel and an autistic artist, Hakan Arsalanian. We worked with a young person of color in Zulu Nation, South Africa, got him to be the first black person playing for the South African polo team. We've done medical projects in East Africa, the Harvard School of Public Health. So it's kind of a long list of projects that we've done, and we've gone through a number of iterations, published at best practices, and more recently we did an AI type project where we interviewed people on the telephone in a 30-minute intake automated interview process to find out about mentoring competencies and also to analyze people's motivations and so forth. Worked with a company called Million Ways. Martin, I can't remember his last name, calls me up one day. He says, you know, we've come up with something that I'm not sure I want to share with you. And I said, well, you've got to tell me what that is. And he says, well, you know, we've done about 50 of these interviews, and it turns out that the biggest motivation for people to be mentors is power. And so we were a little disappointed by that, but I just want to point out that it's created a little bit of a jaded impact upon me when I think about impact investing and philanthropy and so forth, because yes, I think many people do want to give back, but not everybody, okay? And I think, especially in this space, once there's money in the room, you know, there's one guy and then there's 15 around it. So just as we sort of remain with a sober perspective about this whole thing. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, Danny.
To you know, go back to what I was saying earlier, we're so close with some of our investors and family offices. One of the greatest things I think we did when we sold our last company, we set up our own family foundation. But we're so tight with some of the family offices that sometimes we'll just be on a golf course. And most recently, the guy had a passion for a new church addition to the Christian school that he helped found. And the 2-3 other family offices all have their own family foundations. We all kind of chipped in and helped build out that auditorium. So again, you work with good people that have the same values and vision and focus. For us, it's not, I've always said, I don't want to be the richest guy in the cemetery. I mean, you're taking nothing with you. So to sit, you know, complete what you're saying. But once you find that good group of investors and family offices, we're so aligned even on the Christian, you know, focus of what we want to do before we pass that we work not just on the investment side, but also on the giving back side. So it's we're blessed to be where we're at. But absolutely, you have to, that's a part my wife loves. She says, you make the money in the family office, I'll take care of the donations.
In the 15 seconds we have left, I will tell you that my advice has nothing to do with financial. You know, I'm at the point in my life where I look back a lot now, and the thing that I'm super happy that I did was I kept balance in my life. So if you're chasing your career and your dreams, don't forget balance. Don't forget your health, your kids, your family. You know, what matters most at the end of the day after all this is all of those things. And if you're pursuing this and not bringing that along with you, then it's a big mistake.
Thanks, guys. Great panel.